Now we will look at normality. What is normality? It is indicated by capital N. Normality is given by number of gram equivalents present in 1 liter of the solution. So normality is equal to number of gram equivalents volume in liters. What are number of gram equivalents? Number of gram equivalents is given by weight by gram molecular weight by gram molecular weight, and V, of course, we are converting it into 1000 by V in ml. Normality is equal to weight by gram molecular weight into V by 1000 by V in ml. Generally, gram molecular weight is nothing but molecular weight by X, molecular weight by X. I will explain what is that X. When we rearrange this, we will get X into weight by molecular weight into 1000 by V in ml. Or we can say normality is equal to some X into molarity. So normality is always a larger term than molarity. Now, we will look at what is this X. The value of X is explained for different substances. Value of X for acids, bases, and inorganic compounds. For acids, X is nothing but number of H plus released. Number of H plus released. What is an acid? Which releases a H plus ion. For example, hydrochloric acid, it releases one H plus ion. It releases one H plus ion. So it is called as monobasic acid. So in case of HCl, X is equal to 1. Therefore, for HCl, normality is equal to molarity. Normality is equal to molarity, right? For H2SO4, sulfuric acid, which releases 2H plus, which releases 2H plus. So X is equal to 2. X is equal to 2. So for HCl, H2SO4, normality is equal to 2 into molarity. Normality is equal to 2 into molarity. Similarly, since it is releasing 2H plus when dissolved in water, it is called as dibasic acid. Dibasic acid. You try to write everything for H3PO4. When we look at bases, what is X? X represents number of OH minus released. Number of OH minus released. For a molecule like NaOH, sodium hydroxide, it is a hydroxide base. When we dissolve it in water, it releases one OH molecule ion, one OH minus ion. So in case of NaOH, X is 1. In case of NaOH, X is 1. Since it is releasing only one OH minus, it is called as monoacidic base. Monoacidic base. Similarly, we can look at calcium hydroxide, OH twice. So it releases 2H plus. It releases 2 OH minus. So X is 2 in case of calcium hydroxide. Since it releases 2 OH minus, it is called as diacidic base. Diacidic base. Similarly, you calculate for aluminum trihydroxide. Now, we will look at inorganic compounds. How we can calculate X in case of inorganic compounds. In case of inorganic compounds, X is nothing but oxidation state of the central element. Oxidation state of the central element. For example, take KMnO4. In KMnO4, manganese is the central element. Manganese is the central element. We know potassium charge, it is +1. Oxygen charge -2. There are 4 oxygens, so a total of -8. Now, what is the charge of manganese? Yes, it is +7. So +1 +7 +8 -8. Overall, it is neutral. In case of KMnO4, X is 7. X is 7. You calculate X for chromate. In case of H2CrO4, hydrogen +1, there are 2 hydrogens +2, oxygen -2 charge, there are 4 oxygens -8. So altogether, chromium will have +6 charge. So in case of chromic acid, X is equal to 6. X is equal to 6. In case of magnesium sulfate, magnesium charge is +2. So X is equal to 2. This is how we need to identify X value for acids, bases, and inorganic compounds. Now, how do we know the charge of potassium as +1, hydrogen as +1, or oxygen as -2? This is easy if we know periodic table. So in a periodic table, all first group elements, that means hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, all these are first group elements. They will have +1 oxidation state. That means they will immediately release one electron if there is an acceptor, and they will be stable. So first group is stable in +1 oxidation state. Second group, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. It is second group which immediately releases 2 electrons when there is an acceptor and it gets stabilized. So second group elements charge is always +2. Third group, boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Third group is always stable in +3 oxidation state. Third group is always stable in +3 oxidation state. Fourth group, carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead. Fourth group is always stable in plus 4 charge. Fourth group is always stable in plus 4. Now look at fifth group. Oxygen, sulfur, fifth group is nitrogen. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. Arsenic AS. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. Fifth group is stable in minus 3. Fifth group is stable in minus 3. So nitrogen takes 3 electrons and it becomes noble gas configuration. Sixth group, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. Oxygen group is stable in minus 2 charge. So any of these elements will take 2 electrons and they get noble gas configuration. So they are stable in minus 2 oxidation state. Halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine, they are all stable in minus 1 oxidation state. So they take 1 electron so that they become noble gas configuration. So these elements have fixed oxidation states. These elements have fixed oxidation states. We need to remember the oxidation state of these elements. And other elements, they will have variable oxidation states. For example, chromium. Chromium may be stable in plus 3. Chromium is also stable in plus 6. Iron is stable in plus 2. Iron is stable in plus 3. So how do we know that? Whether sometimes iron is in plus 2, iron is in plus 3 oxidation states. Which one is a particular configuration in a given molecule? So that we can identify when we know the stable oxidation states of these elements, because these are stable oxidation states, they don't change. So with respect to these, we can calculate whether iron is in plus 2 or plus 3 oxidation states. So I request you all to please remember this table to predict the oxidation states. Third unit used for representing concentrations is molality. Molality is represented by small m. Molality is represented by small m. Molality is the number of moles present in 1 kg of the solution. 1 kg of the solution. So molality small m is equal to number of moles present in weight kgs, or we can rearrange this weight by molecular weight into 1000 by weight in grams. So this is the formula for calculating molality. The fourth unit used to represent concentrations is mole fraction. It is not exactly a concentration term, which is represented by x, either capital X or sometimes we can use small x. What is mole fraction? Mole fraction, it is a ratio of moles. It is a ratio of moles. For example, a solution is prepared by mixing two substances A and B. Then mole fraction of A can be calculated by by taking a ratio of number of moles of A to the total number of moles. So what is mole fraction? It is the ratio of number of moles of A to the total number of moles. Similarly, we can calculate number of moles of B. What is the mole fraction of B? What is the formula? Number of moles of B by total number of moles. Total number of moles. Therefore, XA plus XB is equal to how much?
1.
Good. So because LC denominators are same, so we can go for LCM. We will get XA plus XB is equal to 1. So we can infer that mole fraction, total mole fraction in a solution is 1 or it is 100%. 1, or we can represent it in terms of percentage, 100. Numbers it is 1, percentage it is 100. So what is the range of mole fraction? The range of mole fraction is from 0 to 1. 0 to 1. If there is only one solution, then we will say only one component in a solution, then mole fraction becomes 1. Or if it is a dilute solution, if it is a very dilute solution, then also we will say mole fraction becomes almost 1. So these four terms, molarity, normality, and mole fraction, molality and mole fraction are used to represent the